Yeah, it's the Cocktail 615, and what I'm doing right now is about to introduce y'all to my relationship series, okay? Well, and let me tell you how this works. I put out a Facebook post about an idea that I had, and I had a couple of people reach out and said that they would love to help me out through this exercise. And what I did was I asked them to give me 3 questions that they would ask on a "So You Wanna Date Me" application, and tell me a deplorable or a moment that changed you into where you are in relationships now. So I got single people, married people, people that are taken, people that don't know, people that are celibate. You know, I got the spectrum out here. So I hope you all enjoy it. Just stay tuned. I probably got close to 10, 12 people who participated. So there's no telling how it's going to come out, but I hope y'all enjoy it. What is your age?
36.
What is your race?
Black.
What is your relationship status?
I will be divorced any day now, waiting on the judge to sign the paperwork as we speak.
Okay. What is your sexual orientation?
I am heterosexual.
Are you currently sexually active?
I am.
Okay. And how many exclusive adult relationships have you had? And we can say from the age of 18.
Okay. So when you say exclusive, are you talking more so like in a monogamous relationship?
Correct.
Oh, to be honest, I haven't had that many exclusive, maybe about 3.
3? Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, we're going to refer back to this. So you said maybe about 3. Is 3 the benchmark we're going to use?
Yeah, because I really would like to say 2. I feel like when you're in your early teens, that doesn't so much count. Yeah. So let's go 20s to 30s and say 2. 2,
okay. Mm-hmm. I'll do that. All right. So do you have any children?
I do have 2.
Okay, cool. So part of this exercise, you were asked a couple of questions before I set up your interview time. We missed the first one because I went to the doctor. We missed the second one because I didn't have somebody to take care of my son. But now we're here. So can you tell me about the moment that you wish you could change?
The moment I wish I could change in relationships would be how I was introduced to sex. And what I mean by that is, you hear about sex when you're younger from your friends, and you're so misinformed. You really don't know the purpose and the basis of even having sex, and so misinformed. I remember a time, my homegirl, we couldn't have been no more than about 12 or 13. And she had asked me, she was like, "Girl, what is oral sex?" And I was like, "Girl, you don't know what oral sex is? That's when you do it in the booty." And I'm like, and looking back on it, I'm like, man, I probably set my friend up for failure telling her that. But we learned from, other kids. And I wasn't informed that, my body is something precious. Don't share it with everyone. And you become experienced really fast. And I think why that becomes a problem in your relationship is then you begin to talk to others who's not that experienced, and you feel some sort of way. You may cut them off sometimes. They'll be like, "Oh, the sex wasn't good." And just because they hadn't been around the block the way that you have, it can just cause a disconnect in the relationship.
So, all right, you have children. Now, as far as sex education, is that something that you're going to really spearhead with them and talking about this is, the way that you should approach sex and the way that you should, because I think having kids, you should improve their life better than yours. Right. So I don't know if that's something that you are willing to talk about, but I think that is something that you really need to think about, because if you didn't have the proper sexual education, right, then that's something that you from experience that you're able to now give that information and share it and develop people or develop your kids in a way that you weren't developed.
Right, I totally agree with that, because I feel like sex has lost its value. We really don't value it the way that we should.
Yeah, that's true.
We're so quick to, you do it just like if it's playing spades or cards. There's just nothing to it. Like, okay, I did it, now what?
Right.
And back in the day, it used to be like, "Oh my God, I had sex with him." And, it was a really big moment that you remember, that you kind of just, you glorified for a little bit. And now it's just like drying clothes or something, like nothing to it. Yeah, I knocked him off. And, and it shouldn't be that way because now, like in relationships, that's what it leads with. You meet a man, and within 20 minutes to a day of a conversation, you're already talking about sex. It has come up, and it's like, okay, what else is there? Is there any other meat to this? Like, we go straight there to the sex.
Yeah, that is true, though. That is a valid statement. Anyway, before we get into some of this kind of conversation, what I have for you are all of the questions, right? So you gave me 3 questions, and everybody that has participated in this exercise has given me 3 questions. And so what you'll do in our next segment is you'll pull 5 questions. I'll read the question, and then we'll talk about it. Okay? So I don't know what you're going to pull. I don't know where this is going to go. I'm not going to set you up. I don't have a list of questions that I have specifically for you, but you're just going to pull. And some of those questions, I'm going to be completely honest, they kind of lame. They kind of, oh man, golly, this one again. But this was important to the person that participated. And so when we come back, you're going to pull 5 and then give me those questions, and then we'll read them, okay? All right, cool. Are you a go-with-the-flow type, or do you have rules for sexual interaction? 90 Days Steve Harvey rule?
I am the go-with-the-flow type. If it feels good, then I'll go with it. I don't feel there's any difference in me waiting 90 days versus, let's say, a week. We grown. We not little. If I'm feeling it, I'm going to go with the flow and do it.
Are you thoughtful?
I am.
Okay.
I'm
in relationships. Mm-hmm. Okay.
I really am, and it's a turn on. What I mean by that is I watched my mom and my aunts cater to their husbands. They were extra thoughtful when it came, to them. Like, and the same within my previous marriage. My ex didn't worry about what he was going to eat, whether I cooked or picked up something. He didn't have to worry about what he was going to wear. He knew he was going to have clothes, shoes, whatever he needed. And so I'm thoughtful in that sense. We can be talking and say you mentioned a book that or a movie that you hadn't seen in years. If I know that just a gift just because or a special occasion is coming up, I'm going to try to find that book or that movie to let you know that I was thinking about you. So, I'm very thoughtful. You have to learn the person that you're with.
That's true. I think I'm thoughtful to a certain degree. I'm also spoiled too, meaning, I'm going to do the things that I want to do. I'm not really going to go outside of my zone of things that I want to do, like willingly. Now, if it's a declaration like, man, you need to do this, then it's like, okay, cool. But in terms of me being thoughtful and stepping outside of that zone, it's just hard for me because, I'm the baby boy. I've always had this kind of damn, man, it's like so hard for me to say.
They've been taking care of you,
right? Women. Most of the women that I've been with, have taken care of me in that way. Do you disclose the number of sexual partners to someone you are dating?
Not at all. Not at all.
Let me ask you this, and this is how I propose it to most people. Mm-hmm. So we sitting in the house, Netflix chilling. You know what I'm saying? You feeling me, I'm feeling you. I've declared that you my woman.
Right.
You declared that I'm your man. Mm-hmm. And that question pops up. Like, I'm like, so how many partners you done had? What you gonna fucking say?
I think I would kind of look at it like this and say, okay, you want to know how many people I've been with?
Yeah.
If the number of people I have been with was money,
right,
I could buy a Keurig. How would that make you feel?
You know what? And I don't know if you've heard prior episodes, but there is a limit that most men have when you're feeling a woman and you want to be with that woman, and she exceeds the limit that you impose on her without her knowing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And the limit is different for each man.
Right. See, that's why you shouldn't ask that question then.
But it's important. I think it's very important that you are transparent in that. Do you have a specific type? If yes, what is it? Can you describe your type?
I say someone who is intellectual. And I do prefer a handsome guy. It's not all about looks, but I do prefer someone who is, easy on the eyes.
You got to be attracted to him.
You got to be attracted. You got to.
Man, you can't have no dust bunny around here.
That intellectual, like, I'll tell you something, and this is for my men out there. Women, we know. We know when we meet you, sometimes within a few minutes of talking to you, if we want to give you some. That's the easy part.
Yeah. My sister told me that.
Right. The way to keep us is the intellectual. I've learned about sex from men. But other than that, what else can you teach me? I love to learn from a man. If a man is smart, he can drop some knowledge.
Yeah.
That is a turn on. And I'm going back to my girls and I'm like, girl, he taught me about this. And did you know in history this happened? And, I just like a man who can teach you something. That is a huge turn on.
Girl, he can make fettuccine Alfredo from scratch.
Yes,
girl, like,
that's good. Yes.
Boom. Do you know your love language?
I do.
Okay, what is it?
My love language is acts of service.
Okay, acts of service.
And physical touch.
Physical touch.
It's not words of affirmation like how some women's are. I feel like I'm more so of a man when it comes to talking about feelings. And I'm like, why we got to discuss that? You know how I feel about you. I'm more like the man in that.
Right.
However, I will write a little note. I'll send you a text. But for me to verbally speak it is something that I have to work on. Like I said, that's more of the man, I guess. Manly nature in me.
Yeah.
But I know my love language.
Okay. Does it matter?
It doesn't.
It doesn't?
It doesn't.
Really?
Yep. I hear women say all the time, ooh, girl, he got to be hung like a horse. He is not about to tear up my insides, my ovaries. I'm not finna be at the hospital because he done messed me up.
Right.
Size does not matter, but experience does. As long as you know how to work what you have, then it's not an issue.
You know what? From a man's perspective, I think part of our hang up with dealing with size, and I've been told various things, from women. Oh man, it's big, or oh, you alright. You know what I mean? Right. So it just depended. That are we adequate enough? Is our stroke game right? Can we make it right? So, I mean, I agree with that in terms of experience, right? But there has to be a limit, no matter what the experience is, that you like, you bullshitting.
Right.
I mean, come on, man.
Now, I will say, if it's small to the point where I can't feel that you in, then yeah, we got an issue. But I done had some real big ones, and it was just wasting me.
Have you ever been cheated on, forgave the offense, and stayed in the relationship?
I have.
Oh. Tell me about that.
Well, it was from a guy that I was dating and that I was seeing, and I kind of felt it. It was like I knew it. So once I found out, I was really hurt by it because I wasn't doing the same. And so it made me question myself, though. Like, I felt like I looked at me like, what's wrong with me? I felt like it lowered my self-esteem and how I felt about myself. And then I had to regroup and remember, who I was.
Right.
But in that moment, it was very hurtful. But I ended up forgiving and rocking with him.
No, I'm fucking out of there.
Yeah.
Nah, you ain't gonna cheat on me. I found out about our state, man. Fuck
but
that.
But when you young, it's an age thing. When you young, I love him.
Jesus,
you going through all of.
Have you ever gone through your significant other's phone or emails? If so, why?
I have. And you know what? This is the crazy part about it. It wasn't someone that I was in a monogamous relationship with, but it was someone that I wanted to be in a monogamous relationship with. You know, it started off physical, and then later on, it turned into more, and I wanted more. And it was to the point to where I had told the individual, look, right now I'm leasing you. You don't belong to me, but I got a lease on you.
Right.
So I would appreciate if you played by my rules and keep it exclusive between you and I with the sex, because, we were doing some things that I didn't want him to be doing with everyone. And so he had told me, okay, I'm going to cut off whatever else I got going on. I'm going to put it on hold. I'm just going to focus in on you. And when I noticed that his time was a little thin, it wasn't like how it once was when I was getting all that attention, I did actually go through Messenger. He was logged on to
Facebook?
My computer. Yeah, he didn't realize he left his.
Golly, that player move wrong.
And when I saw that I wasn't the only one, immediately I'm like, I've been keeping it 100 with you. I understand you got whoever on the side, but I done told you that right now I got a lease on it, and you still want to act up. So it causes some problems.
Have you ever had any arguments over social media use in the past or current relationships?
No, I'm not on Facebook like that. I really want to turn my Facebook page into some type of business page, so that wasn't an issue. I listen mainly more to music. I'm interacting with my kids. I'm not on social media like that.
Okay, so what type of business? Do you have a business? Well, tell me about that.
Well, I'm currently working on a children's book. I deal with seniors. And so for majority of my career, I've dealt with Alzheimer's and dementia residents. And so I'm doing a children's book from a child's point of view on memory loss. And then also I've got a few more other projects that I'm working on.
Okay,
so, I'm an entrepreneur at heart.
Okay. Keep that in the bag. You ain't got to.
So, when you chasing that money, you ain't got time for social media like that. When you making your money, I don't care about all them likes and who's loving me and
all the posts and what
they
said on the post and all.
I want to know, where's the business after hours events? How can we get these checks rolling in? Who do I need to network with? That's where I'm at.
I like that. Here we go. How do you define intimacy? Jesus.
I think it's not just sexual. Intimacy can happen in a conversation, and it can be very, intimate. And you're drawn to that person, and, you're engaged, and you feel that attraction, and it's like a oneness that you haven't felt with anybody before. And those situations are rare. I can think about maybe one person that when we were around each other, it was like fire. You could feel the heat, come like the room would heat up or something. It was just different. It was like nothing I had experienced with anybody else, and it was so intimate, and he hadn't even touched me. And so I think intimacy definitely starts in the head and, the conversation in the mind.
On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the high, how would you rate the importance of religious beliefs in a relationship?
Very important.
So on a scale of 1 to 10?
A 10.
A 10.
Definitely 10. It's very important to me. I always think about the movie Coming to America.
Okay.
You remember when Eddie Murphy was out and he was trying to find a date, and that
Prince
one chick was, and that one chick was like, I worship the devil. I'm like, man, we need to know what's your spiritual beliefs before we go any further, because I'm a firm believer that if the spiritual foundation is off, then everything else is gonna be kind of off. Not saying we have to have the exact same beliefs, but they need to be close. We need to be somewhere, you can't be
in the same ballpark.
Right. You can't be worshiping, the sun and whatever else, and that's not gonna fly. So spiritual beliefs is very important.
What are your thoughts on polyamorous relationships?
I think it can be messy.
Jesus.
It can be real messy.
Jesus.
You get to bring in extra people. Definitely a mess. Definitely a mess.
Okay. All right. Let me ask you this. Have you ever loved two people at the same time?
I have.
Okay. All right. No, you don't have to. Let me stop you right there. So I think polyamory is something that we've all experienced. Whether you've been a side piece, whether you've had a side piece, whether you have smashed somebody while you are with somebody, that's, in my opinion, and it's not by definition, that's a form of polyamory. And I'll be very candid in my response in that I think if it's done the right way, if you have a precursor, if you have a discussion prior to that, hey, this is what I want to do, this is what we are doing, this is what's going to happen, whether you like it or not. Hey, I like men or I like women, and I like women, not just a woman. You know what I mean? So I think that it's something that could be healthy because people are in polyamorous relationships and don't even fucking know it.
I kind of look at it like this, though. Someone is bound to get jealous. It's going to want more time.
Jesus.
It just becomes messy. And the reason why those people are in those relationships and don't know it, because they know if it's brought to the forefront, that relationship is gonna end. So I get it. I can see what you're saying, but I just think it's messy. It gets messy.
I've been drinking on Centennial IPA Indian Pale Ale Founders Brewing. What you drinking on over there? What you got?
I'm drinking on Stella Rose Black.
Oh, geez. Here we go. So let me ask you this. It's just, I don't know you because I don't want to step on your toes. But okay. What is the fastest that you've had sex with somebody after meeting?
I would say the fastest that I've had sex meeting someone may have been 48 hours, may have been 2 days.
2 days.
And may have been 2 days.
And it was just a vibe, right?
It was just a vibe. I knew what I was looking for. And I knew that person probably would be temporary. So there was no need to prolong it. Wasn't too much to waste my time. I knew what it was, and that
so
was
that's
it.
What you went into it for,
right?
Okay,
that's what I went into it for.
Say less. Here we go. The next question: what is your biggest relationship regret?
Wasting too much time.
How do you mean?
Men are naturally hunters. And sometimes us women, I think we find ourselves chasing y'all. And I feel like we waste time once we chase. Once we become the chasers, it becomes a turnoff. It's time that I feel like is wasted when I should have caught the hint, a while ago. Because like I said, men, naturally, they hunt what they want.
What is your biggest sexual turnoff?
Biggest sexual turnoff is dick pics.
Oh.
I don't like
man.
that.
Folks do that?
They do that. And I'm like, okay, I know you have to have a penis. More than likely, I don't need to see it.
And so they send you a dick pic prior to you actually having a conversation face to face. I mean, how does that work? Tell me how dick pics work, because I've never sent a dick pic before.
Man, sometimes they're random. Sometimes, you'll just get one. They be like, hey, girl, I was thinking about you. Boom. Here goes your dick. And sometimes the conversation can be flowing well and you get one. And to me, that's a turn off. And then in the middle of sex. Like, say, for example, if I'm performing oral on a man, and when I come up, I don't need you to ask me, do you want me to do you? Like, come on now. We ain't in high school. You don't need to ask me, do you need to do me? If it's something you want to do, then you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, pausing and having a conversation during sex is a turnoff, and then them random dick pics is a turnoff. Yeah. And me, I like to keep my little good girl face on until it's time to get down to business.
Yeah, right.
Like, no, you need to wait to see that.
Well, yeah. You know what? Now I will be honest. Like, I've asked for pictures, but I don't want you to be like all sprawled out, spread eagle. You know what I'm saying? All the way naked, but to have a visual of someone, like how they are naturally, that's a turn on for me.
Well, you come and take your own pictures then.
Jesus. Here we go.
You come and you play photographer, pose, what you want to do.
Lord.
Leg up.
Lord.
And you come take your own pictures.
Lord have mercy. Hey, listen. So, on some of my other episodes, some of my homeboys is like, man, who's that girl right there, man? What is her name is?
Right,
No, I can't even tell you, brother. Here we go. What is your greatest strength as a significant other?
I think I'm very supportive.
Supportive?
I'm a cheerleader.
Okay.
If the guy that I'm with has a vision, he's like, babe, I want to start this business and I want to do whoop, whoop, whoop. It can sound like a crazy idea to me, but I'm going to support it and look for a way to make it make sense. Be like, okay, this is his vision. How can we make this happen? I'm a big supporter. I think that's my strongest strength.